Good afternoon, everybody. This is your host, Jason, and I welcome you into the Canisius Education Fair 2020 University webinar. The highlight of this webinar is the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. In this wonderful occasion, Ms. Crystal Chui will be introducing us to the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. To Ms. Crystal, you may start now.
Yes, thank you, Jason, for introducing me. And then it's very nice to meet all of you here for this online tools. Because in previous year, usually we would visit your school in person. But then this year, we have the chance to meet all of you through this online platform. We are very glad to have this opportunity. And today, I'm going to tell you more about our school. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Crystal from the Undergraduate Recruitment and Admissions Office of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. So speaking of our university, we would like to introduce a bit more about our university to all of you. So I'm not sure whether all of you have been to Hong Kong or have been to HKUST before, but don't worry, because if you have not been to HKUST before, you can take a look to this photo. This is our HKUST campus, and you can see that it is very different from what you thought about of Hong Kong. Usually you may think that Hong Kong is a place full of buildings and a lot of cars, heavy traffic. But then our campus is located in Clearwater Bay, a bit far away from the city center, but we are surrounded by mountains and trees, and then students could enjoy this gorgeous view when they are studying in HKUST. And from this photo, you can take a look of our residential hall located over here just by the seaside. So if you are international students coming from Indonesia, you could also apply for one of these halls and enjoy this sea view every day when you go to school, and then have your time with your friends in your residential hall. And then from this view, you can also see we have a lot of different facilities within our campus. Over here in the mountain, there would be some lecture halls, and then also our laboratories in these buildings. We also have well-equipped sports ground and then outdoor swimming pool and indoor swimming pool by the seaside. So as I've introduced the environment of HKUST to all of you, you may wonder, when did we start to establish this beautiful campus? I can tell you that we established HKUST in around 1991. So do some simple calculations. Till this year, we're only 29 years old. So for all the young universities, that mean universities that are under 50 years old, we are called young university, and HKUST is one of them. We rank the best among all the young universities in the world. And if we compare ourselves with all the other rest of the universities in the world, no matter they are 10 years old or 100 years old, we rank the number 27 in the world. And that is a very great achievement for a young university like us. Apart from that, our graduates also rank high in the world. So you can see from this, we rank number 10 in the graduate employability ranking. So from the next slide, you can see from this ranking, we are just slightly behind some of the famous universities in the world. For example, Harvard and then Cambridge. And this survey is originated from a consultancy company, which interviewed a lot of different employers from all over the world, asking them graduates from which universities you like to hire most. And a lot of them pick HKUST graduates. And that's why we rank high in this ranking. And this ranking results can reassure that you can get a good job after you graduate from our undergraduate programs. So a lot of students may wonder, how come a young university like HKUST would have such a great achievement for both our graduates and our universities? And I would say that innovation is the key. Innovation is all over our curriculum, the opportunities that we offer to our students, and also our campus. So in the next few slides, I'm going to tell you more about the interesting ways of learning in HKUST, that the opportunities that we offer to our students. So we aim to create a very, very stimulating environment for our students with a lot of different opportunities. I'm sure in here, a lot of the students from Canisius may like robots. So in HKUST, we not only ask our students to watch movies with robots, but we also encourage them to build one of their own robots with our famous robotic teams. Here is one of the ways of learning of HKUST students. So no matter you're from the School of Science in HKSC or even business school or humanities or social science school, you could also join this robotics teams. And this is the ways of learning in HKSC. We want our students to learn through different opportunities, ignoring the boundaries of a discipline. As long as you love it, you can join our team and then be part of our teammates and be part of the HKSC family. And the other example of the ways of learning that we offer to our students would be this one. This is site program, which we ask our students to use their technology, their ideas, their creativity to develop some healthcare products or interventions and to build it. So one of the example would be this eye disease detector built by our students, which is for diabetic patients. So our students make use of optical lens and also some programming skills and then mobile apps and to create this product and bring this intervention to travel around the world and deliver these low-cost interventions to developing countries and bring impact to the healthcare system. And this is the ways of how we want to do. We ask our students to forget about the boundary of discipline and also geography, to try to use what they learn from the classroom to deliver it to the society and to explore different options. And most importantly, we think that university is not a factory and that one size fits all is outdated. So we don't want our students to go into the same classroom and come out and then do the same thing. Instead, we offer different opportunities for them. And then in the past 5 years ago, we start some new major program for our students. One of them will be individualized in the disciplinary major. So the name is very long, but then the idea behind this major program is very simple. We want our students to create their own major program and even to name their own major program, design their own curriculum. One example would be Thomas. This is Thomas, who was graduate from HKSC 1 year ago, graduate from this IIM program. So what he do is, at that time, he couldn't find a major program that fits his interest. And that's why he joined HKSC and then find out about IIM program. After he joined it, he tried to communicate with his professor and to design his own curriculum by combining different courses in HKSC. And finally, he even made his own major program called Bionics in HKSC, which is the first of its kind in Asia. And that's why we are very glad that Thomas and HKSC together create a new major program for our students. And now Thomas has already graduated from HKSC and then he went to Europe for further study for postgraduate studies. So we are very happy that he could find his dream in HKSC and to further pursue what he has learned from HKSC to develop his future career. And then from this slide, you can see the robotics hand that is kind of related to the research of Thomas. But then in the next slide, I'm going to show you another type of robots. And you can see from this robot, it is an underwater drone. And it is developed by an Indonesian student from Indonesia who was a student in HKSC. And he graduated from the School of Engineering of HKSC. His name is Andreas Windy. He is the CEO and co-founder of Navatics. And you can see from this photo, this is Andreas together with his teammate in HKSC. Where at the time that when Andreas was in HKSC, he and his teammate come up with an idea to develop an underwater drone that could capture marine life like this one shown on the slide. And at that time, he would like to use this idea to help to explore what he can do in the future. And then at that time, HKSC support him and together with the budget that he collect from a fundraising program and that they create their own company called Navatics producing this first underwater drone in the world. And I'm very happy to tell all of you right now, this underwater drone is selling in the market. And then we are very proud that Andreas started up his own company and realized his dream. From Thomas and also from Andreas' story, we would like to tell you that university is truly a place for you to chase your dream, to find your dream. And then we do want that the opportunities and the teaching and the class that we offer to our students will help you to pursue your dream. And that's why we do hope that students would enjoy their school life and to make use of what we offer to them and to have more opportunities to develop their future. And after this part of sharing, I would like to tell you more about what are the options or curriculums or programs that we offer to our students. And I'm very sorry that because this year we are not able to do physical visit. If we have chance to do physical visit, we would definitely bring our brochures and leaflets and distribute to all of you. But then now it comes to the digital century. So we would like to share our publications through our online website. So if you would like to take a look to our leaflet, you could take a look to our website, www.joint.usc.hk/publication. So in here, you can take a look of all our admissions leaflet. And in the coming few slides, I'm going to share with you the major minor programs and also the admissions requirements. They are all included in this admissions leaflet. So now let me tell you more about the structure of our school. So in our HKUST, as mentioned before, we have School of Engineering, which Andreas was studying in. And then we also have School of Science, Business and Management, and Humanities and Social Science. And one more is Interdisciplinary Programs Office. This office is organizing some courses that are combining the expertise of all the other 4 schools. So in this slide, you can see all the single major program offered by HKUST. Today, I'm not going to tell you all of them one by one because I know that all of you might have different interests. But then I'm going to tell you more about the joint school program and also the admissions requirements later on. So for all the single major options that are available for our students, if you find one that fits your interest, do make your application and apply to us. Apart from those single major program, we do have some joint school program for our students. For example, School of Engineering and School of Science, they would like to combine their discipline. We know that students nowadays are always interested in several different areas. So our school decided to join that effort to provide some major program that combine different expertise and disciplines. And then, for example, if you're interested in both business and science, you could also consider these 2 major programs that might fit your interests. And as said, all the single major program and joint school program that I listed here would be 4 years long. It takes you 4 years to complete all these major programs, except one of them listed here, it would be 5 years long, which is the bottom one, the dual degree program in technology and management. It will be 5 years long. So if you decided to study this dual degree program, please be aware it would take you 5 years. And then after 5 years of time, you will get 2 degrees, 1 degree in engineering or science, and another degree in business and management. So what are you going to study in the next 4 or 5 years of time if you're going to join us in HKUST? So in the first few years, usually students would do some school foundation or pre-major courses. And that after the second year, you're going to study more about your major and minor. But then in HKUST curriculum, we also have something called University Common Core. And for this part, it is something that we want our students to learn something different, away from their major or minor program. So, for example, if you're students from School of Engineering, we do require our students to study some courses maybe related to psychology, history, and music. For sure, you don't have to worry about that because we have a full list of courses in this part for you to choose from. So you have to take some of the credits to complete these University Common Core courses. So now you know more about the options available, how you can apply to us. I'm sure a lot of you are preparing an application for other universities as well. But then if you truly want to apply to HKUST, please be aware of the following method and also timeline. So how could you apply to us? It's simple. All of them will be conducted online. So if you want to apply to HKESC, you just have to visit our application website, create an account, fill in the online application form, and then make two choices, and then nominate academic referee, upload all the required documents we need for you to submit for our application. So what are the required documents? It is quite simple. You just have to prepare your transcript from grade 10 onwards, also your personal statement and your public examination results, as well as your English examinations results. And then together with all the other certificates and awards that you received in the past few years related to your major that you're applying to. And then finally, after you complete all these steps, you can submit your application to us. And then a lot of students may worry about that they do not have the examination results at the time they are applying to us. So don't worry about that, because once you submit your application to us, you can still log into the same application, the account that you create, and then to upload all the examination results that comes to you after the admissions deadline. So don't worry about that. And then about the key dates of application. You can see from this timeline, if you would like to go to our university in around 2020 September, the application will start in this month. Later this month in late September, our online application will open. And then you may have to be aware of the deadlines. We have our early round deadline in late November, and our main round deadline in late January next year. So what is the difference between early round and main round? So a lot of students may wonder whether I should apply earlier or wait until the main round. So we always encourage our students to apply earlier, because if you apply earlier, you will know your results earlier in late December this year. And then if you apply in the main round, you only know your result in around early February next year. So apart from that, if you apply in the early round, you will also have a second chance, because if you are not successful in the early round, you will be automatically considered again in the main round. So it's kind of like you have a second chance. So if you really want to apply to us, please do visit our website, join.usc.hk later on in late September, and to submit your application to us. And then here is the most important part of today's sharing about the admissions requirements. Actually, in the mobile apps for this Canisius fair, I saw a lot of students asking about the admissions requirements required for students from Indonesia. So for all students who are wish to apply to HKSC, there are three parts of admissions requirements. The first part will be general admissions requirements, and the second part will be subject requirements, and the third part will be the English requirements. So for general admissions requirements, you can see from this slide, we are aware that the Indonesia qualification, the UN examination, may be cancelled, but then we are still reviewing the impact of such adjustment. So please stay tuned to our website, join.usc.hk, and in late September or early October, we'll make announcement on the adjustment on our admissions requirements to all of you. But if you're taking other qualifications, you may also consider to apply with other qualifications as well. And for the second part of our admissions requirements will be subject requirements. So from this slide, you can see, if you wish to apply to a certain major program in HKSC, you also have to study a certain subject in your high school or in your examination. For example, if you wish to study School of Engineering in HKSC, you have to study mathematics plus one science subject listed here. So for example, if you have mathematics plus physics, you will be fulfilling the subject requirements of the School of Engineering. So this is the logic of this table. Make sure you have these subjects in your examination in order to apply to these major programs that are listed on the table. And the final part will be English requirements. A lot of Indonesian students may be worrying about do I have to know Chinese in order to study in Hong Kong? Or what are the medium of instruct in HKSC? So in here, can we ensure that all the medium of instruct in HKSC of all lectures and classes and materials will be in English. But then, of course, we do have our Chinese course and language course. So for those courses, definitely they will be taught in that specific language. But then the remaining classes or courses all will be taught in English. So that's why we have our English requirements listed here. So for our English requirements, you only have to fulfill either one of these requirements. For example, if you already have IELTS 6.0, you can forget about all the other English requirements listed here. So you only have to fulfill either one of these English requirements. And just to give you some tips about application to HKESC. So we do have our interviews for some of the programs. So I know that a lot of you are worrying about whether you should join the interviews of HKESC. I can tell you that for these 6 programs listed above on the top, they would have compulsory interviews for all the applicants. So if you wish to get into these major programs, you must attend their interviews. But for the other programs, only selected applicants will be asked for interviews. So that's how we want to arrange our interviews, but we do encourage all of our students to join these interviews as long as they could join us. So the final part of my sharing will be money matters. This is the approximate amount of money that you have to pay in order to study in HKESC for 1 year. So the 1 year tuition fee will be around 18,000 US dollar. And then finally about scholarships, we do offer scholarships to our applicants. So don't worry, you don't have to submit separate application to us. As long as you submit your admissions application to HKESC, you will be considered for admission scholarship. And then finally, I would like to do a promotion on our coming event, which is the largest event of the university. We are organizing a virtual information day 2020 in October 17. I know that you are already listened or hear this admission talk, but then if you want to know more specific requirements and more details about the programs or major that you're applying to, please join us because admissions officer from every program, every major are joining this event and ready to talk to all of you. So register here at join.usc.hk/free-info-day. So I think that's the end of my sharing. And then I'm ready to answer some questions if any one of you have any questions to ask.
What interesting presentation, Miss Crystal. Our audience has been asking many questions now. I will be reading out the question for you to answer. Okay, from number 1, from Manuel Wesley. Considering the riot that occurred last year, is it safe for international students to attend university there? How are student safety guaranteed?
Okay, so thanks for your question. And then I can tell you that we understand your concern about the safety of studying in Hong Kong or studying in HKESC. So I can tell you that for sure our university make our greatest effort to protect the safety, to protect our students. And based on the location of HKESC, as you have already seen from the photos, it is in the country on the rural side of Hong Kong. So it is quite far away from what happening last year or the protests. It will be in city center. So I can tell you that from my experience, it is minimally affected our HKESC students in according to last year's experience. But then I think the situation is getting better now. And then I think the main concern right now would be COVID-19. So a lot of the protests is already reduced. The amount of protests already reduced, but then all of us are now focused on fighting the COVID-19. So we would like to ensure that if you wish to study in HKESC, we would try our best to protect the safety of all the students attending our school.
Okay, second question from Griffin Perdana. Since Indonesians curriculum no longer has UN in its education, which is a media to apply. Are there any requirements regarding for applying?
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, we are aware that the UN is no longer there, but then we are still evaluating the impact of such changes. And then since our application has not yet opened, it will be open in late September. So I'm sure in late September and early October, as long as you visit our website, we will make our latest adjustment to our admissions requirements to all students who are taking UN.
Okay, number 3, William Wirohusodo. What is all the requirement to enter this university, and is there any scholarship to this university and how to apply for it? It has been answered. Also, how much is the living cost?
Okay, so maybe for students who are taking UN, we still need some time to evaluating the impact. But then for general admissions requirements, please stay tuned our website. So the second part will be subject requirements that I mentioned earlier. You must take a certain subjects in order to apply into a certain major in our school. So the third part of the admissions requirements will be English requirements. We have our English requirements listed here. You just have to fulfill either one of these requirements in order to apply to HKUST. So that's pretty much the summary of the applications requirements. So the second part of the questions might be, are there any scholarships? So I've also shared with you about the scholarships. We do have scholarships for students, international students. And then for the tuition fee, it is listed here. And then for university provide accommodation, this is the living cost per year to live in our residential hall. Then you still have to apply separately and see whether you could get this hall. But then if you are not successful, we still have our housing office to help you to find other flats in Hong Kong, but the price would be maybe slightly higher than what I've listed here.
Okay, next from Hatorangan Bintang. Do you have any suggestion for Indonesian students?
I'm not sure what types of suggestions that you are mentioning about for Indonesian students, but then if you are saying to apply into HKUST, we do want our students to be well prepared because in HKUST, we do have a lot of challenges and opportunities that are awaiting for you in our school. So you are expecting to study with a lot of quality students from all over the world in HKUST, so be prepared and then to try to grab every opportunities that are in front of you to enjoy the school life in our university.
Okay, from Bernardius Mateo. As an international student, is it harder for us to get jobs or internship after we graduate?
So if for international students to clarify, you could definitely work as an internship during your study period in HKUST. So for example, during the semester, you could work for a part-time internship with maximum of 10 hours per week in Hong Kong. And then during the summer and winter break, you could definitely get another full-time internship during the summer or winter break. And then during the summer and winter break, there is no hour limit for international students to work in Hong Kong. So if you ask me that, is it hard for international students to find internship? I would say that I think it is not happening in right now in Hong Kong because international students are very, very attracted to local and international companies stationed in Hong Kong. I know a lot of student ambassadors personally. They could find a lot of different types of internship. They could even do more than 2 to 3 internship during the study period. So I would not say it is hard to find an internship in Hong Kong if you're studying in HKUST. So maybe the next question.
Okay, from James Rakatana, will be the last. Why would Hong Kong be a better place to learn than China?
So if you want to ask me about comparing the universities in Hong Kong and in China, I would say that in Hong Kong, a lot of the universities medium of instruction will be in English, but then some of the universities in China, they may use Mandarin to teach. And then this might be a difficulties for students to study in China instead of Hong Kong. And then apart from that, as a very well-developed city in Hong Kong, the transportation and also the living environment would be kind of more attractive to students because everything is so near, and then you could go to have a dinner with your friends very near in the city center, and then everything is so convenient. So I think it's quite attractive to study in Hong Kong as well, if you're thinking about studying in Hong Kong or China.
Okay, there is so many questions asked by our audience, but unfortunately, this is the end of the presentation. So for our audience that haven't been answered yet, please ask the question through the booth in the EduFair app. And thank you for Miss Crystal. What a great insight. So are you guys interested in the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology? Okay, and this presentation is supported by
Hey Jason, you forget to say goodbye to audience, right? Jadi after sponsor kembali lagi ke kamu, say goodbye, terima kasih, baru kita selesai kembali. Oke. Kamu diem aja sih, kaku banget kayaknya, ekspresinya. Iya serius banget. Kayak itu dong, kayak si siapa tadi, Otnil senyum gitu dong.